Well, we know the story of WNBA star Brittney Griner. She was actually a Houston native. And Brittney would go play basketball in Russia. She would make more money playing basketball in Russia than she would make here in the United States playing in the WNBA. The WNBA is very, very low paid compared to their counterpart, the NBA. I remember when the WNBA first got started, when they had, Sister Cheryl Swoops playing. And shout out to her. I did an interview with her maybe about a year or so ago. And, they, definitely Houston Comets was a team to beat at one point in time. And when Lisa Leslie used to play, when the WNBA first started, it was pretty good. They had some real good women players. But down the line with time, it didn't have them same kind of, players. Because, I like basketball. I don't care if it's men or women. If you good, I watch, But Brittney Griner would all the time go to Russia to play ball. It was no issue, no problem. Now, I've watched many videos, even, this one Russian woman from TikTok was saying that, if you are LGBT, you probably shouldn't go to Russia because people are hardcore against that. Now, we know Putin has his thought process against that. He don't support that. He said as long as he's president of Russia, that would never be okay. And his people support him on that. Now, the woman on TikTok has said that it's not even the government that you need to worry about. You need to worry about the people, because the people find out you that way, they about to follow you in the streets, harass you. Some people may beat you, and she say even some may even delete you because they don't play that. But Brittney Griner kept going to Russia anyway. If I had anything going on that wasn't conducive with the society, I probably wouldn't go to that society. For example, I wouldn't go to any country that is hella racist against black people. I wouldn't do it because I'm asking for trouble. Same thing with Brittney Griner. She was asking for trouble due to her lifestyle. I tell all my, black LGBT brothers and sisters, I think you just need to stay in the Western countries because that's a safe space for you. Other countries like Arab countries, African countries, minus maybe a few, certain Latin American countries, it's not conducive to your lifestyle. So it is best you stay in the West where they prop that up and promote that. Okay. Most people in other countries, a lot of they're more religious based, whether it's Islam or Christianity. But Brittney Griner, she, played ball and she went to leave Russia. During inspection, they found, a vape, with some cannabis oil in it. Of course, that is illegal in Russia. You face up to 10 years in prison minimum for that. So she was arrested. She ended up pleading guilty because they said it was best if she pleaded guilty, because if she would have went to trial, they would have gave her more just on GP. And they say in Russia, 99% of the cases that's tried or ends in guilty verdicts. Period. You're not in America. You don't have the same rights and privileges that you have here in America. Sure, you got the embassy there, but the embassy can't tell certain countries what to do. Now, that may work in countries like, African countries or countries that kind of worry about America like that, but Russia don't. At the same time, Brittney Griner did this at a horrible time when Russia, and Ukraine has their conflict, and NATO, definitely America sending a lot of weapons, keeping that going. It has nothing to do with America, but it's keeping that going. So Brittney Griner, as I stated, she pleaded guilty, and she's sitting there. Now, my focus is her fellow LGBT community. The LGBT community, and we talking about the Mzungu LGBT community, is a very powerful community. They have a lot of politicians in office. They have a lot of CEOs. They have lawyers. They're movie stars. They're radio personalities, podcasters, content creators. They're bankers. They're in law enforcement. They're judges. They're DAs. I mean, in every wake of society, The LGBT community is there. But one response that we did not see from the Mzungu LGBT community is speaking up loud and proud to fight for their LGBT sisterin, Brittney Griner. They didn't say this is an attack on LGBT. They left Brittney Griner in a Russian jail, not saying a word. Biden hasn't even been saying a word either. Now what they're trying to do is scapegoat Brittney Griner's situation on black men in the NBA. Brittney Griner probably would have maybe had more guys saying something if she had a camaraderie with the brothers in the NBA. And clearly, maybe she don't. Because if she had camaraderie with those brothers, they would have said something by now. But the LGBT, the white LGBT community, have been so silent on Brittney Griner. You can literally hear a rat pissing on cotton. How silent the white LGBT community has been. I told y'all, and many of us have told y'all time and time again, white supremacy is more important than what you do in your bedroom. So just because they're LGBT like you, white supremacy is more important. And they're not going to take resources that they have been getting and finessing through set-asides for us. This is why we had to go to war against the term minorities, because this is how people like that have been getting money that belong to black people. This is why we go into war with terms like disenfranchised individuals. Well, that could mean a whole lot of people. It don't even mean black. Underserved communities. Well, that can mean everybody else but black. So this is why we are right to correct people. And I say correct people because you gotta shift the conversation. When you hear brothers and sisters say minorities, you're gonna say, who are you talking about? That's the first thing you say. Who are you talking about? Make them think. Because see, don't just attack them. Just say black. No. We gotta shift the paradigm. So if someone say minorities, you say, who are you talking about? What's a minority? Just always ask that question. Make them identify who they're talking about. Because when people say, well, people of color, well, who is that? Women of color, who is that? Well, what do you mean by that statement, women of color? I don't know what that is. That's not even a classification in the United States of any group of people. So who are you talking about? We can't have blanketed terms and not identify who we're talking about, because we have to be very specific who we're talking about here. Always push that, ladies and gentlemen. So this community abandoned Brittney Griner. Haven't said anything. And this is what I want my LGBT brothers and sisters who are black to understand. Your race trumps what you do in your bedroom. I'll repeat that again. Your race trumps anything you do in your bedroom. See, a great person to look at when it comes to this is Brother Marcel Dixon. Marcel lives his life how he lives his life. And all of us know he's been very upfront and transparent about his life. But he understands that he is a black man and he's going to be treated as such. It's not about what he's doing in his personal life. It's about his people. And Marcel fights for his people. He don't sit up here and talk about his lifestyle and what he do in his personal life. He fights for black people. He even said that when he was running for office, that Mzungu LGBT came up to him and say, hey, well, you know, if you want to make it by LGBT, we got a lot of money for you. And he said, no, I'm not going to make it about that because I got to make it about my people. And they didn't mess with Marcel at all. But just like with Marcel, Brittney Griner, they're not messing with her. They can care less about her. Because at the end of the day, no matter how she lives her life, she's still a black woman. And that community or anything related to white supremacy is not coming to the rescue of black people. And this is where some of our brothers and sisters in the LGBT play themselves, because you sit up here and join with your Mzungu counterparts thinking y'all all in this together because of what you guys choose to do in your bedroom. And at the end of the day, they leave you hanging. A lot of them are hella white supremacists in that community. Many of my LGBT brothers and sisters have told me how hella racist a lot of their own counterparts are who are the Mzungu. And I told you a long time ago, white supremacy is their culture. Just because they LGBT doesn't mean that they're not going to practice their culture. I liken black people joining with the white LGBT as long time ago when a great mistake was made in our community, when some, not all, sisters joined with white feminists against their man. At the end, it hurt black women. It benefited white women. It's the same thing all over again. The LGBT thing, black folks join with them and benefit them. You're helping them actually take resources away from you as a black person. All those set-asides that our ancestors fought for, they fought for you to have set-asides. They died for us to have certain set-asides. And we have allowed, by joining with these other people and saying, oh, well, they discriminated against too because of, people don't like them because of what they choose to do in their bedroom. And you have allowed them to worm their way in. And now that's why the people they're taking government resources from black men and black women. But I want you to see how they're treating Brittney Griner. This is a very, very public lesson to my black LGBT brothers and sisters, that no matter what you choose to do, how you identify, at the end of the day, if you still walk with this black skin, like I have black skin, you're going to be viewed as black and you're going to be treated as such. You have no friends, as the late Dr. John Henry Clark told us. We have no friends. All we have is each other. Do we agree on everything? No. What family do agree on everything? You can have a wife or husband 30 years and you every day y'all gonna agree on something? No. That's just human nature. We're all different. But we all need to understand and come into an agreement, because, black folks love to say, well, we all not a monolith. No, we're not. But we need to be in a monolith on some subjects, right? We may not like the same foods, and that's fine. But we need to say, okay, we are black and we got to be on code to protect ourselves. I may not agree with your lifestyle. You may not agree with my lifestyle. But we're black and we got to push that to the side, because that has nothing to do with me or you personally, what I think on certain things, right? And view that as we need to be a monolith on protecting black people. We need to be a monolith on educating black people. We need to be a monolith on starting black businesses and employing our people, especially some of our brothers and sisters that's coming out of jail, and how these people ruin their chances and keep that recidivism rate very, very high because brothers and sisters can't get a job. Some people go to jail and not even on no freaking violent offense. And that still ruins brothers and sisters. And there have been studies that have shown that black businesses have hired more people that come out of jail than any other business, because we know our people. We need to be as a monolith on those things. We walking around here using that term, we're not a monolith, like that's some sort of badge of honor. What has that we're not a monolith have produced? It's the same thing when I talk about some of my brothers and sisters that come from abroad with tribalism. Why are you walking around here with tribalism and it hasn't produced anything good where you live? So if it's not producing anything good where you live or in your life, then maybe you need to switch some things up. So yes, black people do need to be a monolith on some things. protecting our women, protecting our children. That should be something that we should all be on a monolith about. Making sure nobody hurts or harms Black people. We should be on a monolith about that, no matter if it's within the community or with outside the community. We shouldn't be having no divides about anything like that. But what I'm liking today and what I'm seeing today is a lot of brothers and sisters are like I say, getting on code about things, and they checking people about it. Say, oh, no. You off code. See, the code is basically just a group think on some things. And we need group think on reparations. We need that. We need everybody to think the same about reparations. And yes, you have every right to come down on any Black person that's against reparations. Like, how in the hell are you going to be against reparations and it will benefit you? So if we got checks, you will get one. Now, if you're a Black immigrant, no. But even if you are a Black immigrant, think about it like this. If Black Americans get reparations, you got a business in the Black community, you're going to be getting the money. You sell real estate, Black people get their reparations. You would be making money off of the real estate because Black people be buying homes, etc. You got a restaurant, you got your Caribbean restaurant, something like that. You got your Ethiopian restaurant. I love Ethiopian food. You're going to be getting the money. So if Black people get reparations, you're going to get the benefits on the back end with the Black American, right? So you should be supporting Black Americans getting reparations. You shouldn't be against it, no matter where you come from in the Black community. Now, we get the white supremacists and other groups don't want us having reparations because they want us to stay at the bottom. But we shouldn't hear no Black person, none, be against reparations. None. All they should say is, I want you to get your reparations. Please get it. We do need to be a monolith politically, saying that we're not voting for you if you're not giving us anything. That's about our survival. This isn't a vanity statement. That's a survival statement. And we need to come down on anybody who's off code talking about going vote for a person that's not doing nothing for Black people. Hell yeah. We need to identify, name, and shame them. And keep doing it until they break. Because many of them can't take community pressure. We know this. From the Boule Martins to any of them. They can't take community pressure. Ain't no way that anybody that's Black should be, once again, against reparations. If Black folks had a code and Black folks would have told Brittney Griner this, why don't you play basketball in a country that would allow you to participate in your lifestyle? You would have researched that. You'd have made sure that would have happened. You'd have made sure of it. Now, we can all debate about how, we all feel about that particular lifestyle. For me, I've been very, very clear about that, because I know one day I got to stand before the Lord, and I know it's, sin and unrighteousness. But at the end of the day, I can't put you in heaven or hell. I can't. I respect all people, no matter your lifestyle. I will respect you, treat you right, but I don't have to agree with it. And you may not agree with my lifestyle. You may not agree how I speak. You may not agree how I think. That's fine too. But you got to respect me. Because this real talk, if everybody's, practicing that particular lifestyle, then that's going to be the death of Black people. And that's what white supremacy won't anyway, because we won't be making no babies. You understand? That's just real on that. But the code says you got to call this stuff out because Brittney Griner is still a Black woman. But calling it out, not to say we coming to her rescue, because people like Brittney Griner abandons the Black community because they want to walk in what they do in their bedroom is more important than the community. You understand? Don't ever put yourself in a position where you can't get community support. Don't make that decision, because today it's consequences to walking away from the community. No matter what your issue and flaw is, let me give you a piece of advice about black people. Black people is the most loving people. Black people is the most forgiving people. We will forgive you 70 times 7. But when you purposely walk away from the community and have kind of like a F the community kind of, attitude, when it's time for you to speak up on some things, you don't speak up. You're more focused on other things and not being focused on community things. And people see you, then you can't expect the community to come scream and yell for you. You can't. And this is what Brittney Griner is experiencing right now. She's at the mercy of Biden and the Democrats, which is horrible. I feel for her. I really do. But my black LGBT brothers and sisters, just remember, you are a black person in this country. That's what's important. That's how you're going to be judged, whether you like it or not. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on the podcast. I know it's late this evening. We greatly appreciate it. I had just actually got back from Austin, Texas. I went over there with Dr. Candace Matthews to the Department of Family and Protective Services. I'll be putting that video out on the news channel. You'll hear why we went up there. But yeah, I had to run to Austin early this morning. Came back this evening, so I want to make sure I get this podcast out, because one I'm supposed to get out today. And so make sure you subscribe. It's very important. You come back to visit the podcast. Make sure to click that like button. It's very, very important. And if you enjoy the show, leave us definitely a cash app, or join the YouTube channel memberships. We appreciate you coming by, and see you on the next one.